After 3 consecutive losses to Denver, the Timberwolves seemed to have lost their identity. Their defensive intensity had vanished, their offense was inconsistent, and Anthony Edwards struggled in 2 of those 3 defeats. Wolves fans, NBA fans, and perhaps even the Wolves themselves wondered if they would ever regain their form. Well, they certainly did. Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals got off to a fast start. There was clearly energy in Minnesota, both with the team and in the arena. The game started off with a quick pace, with the Nuggets getting off to a 9-2 start, forcing Minnesota to call an early timeout. But after that timeout, everything changed. The Timberwolves would go on a 20-0 run during the first quarter, and a few things were clear. They were making adjustments. To start the game, the Wolves looked to exploit mismatches down low with Rudy Gobert, looking to him for alley-oops and opportunities in the paint with good positioning and often a smaller defender. Taking advantage of poor switches by the Nuggets, Gobert opened up the Wolves' offense early. Oh, and Anthony Edwards was once again losing his mind out there. The Wolves had the lead 31-16 after a dominant first quarter. They found their rhythm and managed to score consistently, experiencing a burst of effective basketball that had been absent in their past 3 games. That 20-point run, leading by as much as 18 points before ending the first quarter with a 17-point advantage, was huge in setting the tone for the rest of the game. Anthony Edwards drove the offense, scoring 14 points from both inside and outside the paint. The Wolves started the second quarter with both Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns on the bench, while Denver chose to keep Nikola Jokic on the floor, deviating from his usual rest time. Without their top scorers, the Wolves' offense slightly struggled, allowing Denver to trim the lead to 11. But the Wolves remained aggressive and persistent. A 6-0 run by Naz Reid extended the Wolves' lead back to 19 at 43-24, prompting another Nuggets timeout. Anthony Edwards would continue to dominate and got key contributions from Naz Reid and especially Jaden McDaniels, who had a huge game and scored 13 points in the first half, including a buzzer-beating putback. But as per usual, the Wolves found success in their defensive efforts. At the half, Ant led the Wolves with 19 points and Jokic led the Nuggets with 16. The Wolves effectively doubled Jokic throughout the game, daring the rest of the team to beat them. They held the Nuggets to just 4 of 21 shooting from 3 at the half, and it would only get worse for Denver. By the start of the third quarter, the game was essentially a foregone conclusion. Anthony Edwards only needed 34 minutes to rack up 27 points. Towns and Reid both had double-doubles. Gobert finished with 14 rebounds, and Jaden McDaniels finished with 21 points, including an 80% field goal percentage and hitting 3 three-pointers. Jaden McDaniels seemed like an X-factor early, contributing as he always does on the defensive end and coming up big offensively. The Timberwolves faced a scare in the third quarter when Anthony Edwards took a hard fall during a drive attempt and appeared to injure himself. With the Wolves leading 66-42, Ant drove to the basket and missed a layup as he was fouled by Michael Porter Jr. He stayed face down on the ground for several moments as teammates gathered around him. Eventually, Edwards got up and slowly walked back to the bench during a timeout. However, Edwards shook off the injury, stayed in the game, made 1 of 2 free throws, and then immediately picked up Jamal Murray full court, and then helped the Wolves to secure an 86-61 lead after the third quarter. For the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic seemed like the only player that showed up to play. And while the Wolves' defensive efforts were dominant, the Nuggets were missing open looks left and right. Jamal Murray was honestly terrible on both offense and defense. He started the game 0 for 5 and finished it 4 for 18, and the bench was next to useless. In fact, the first bench points for the Nuggets came in the fourth quarter, and by that time the game was out of reach. The Nuggets shot a miserable 30% from the field and just 19% from 3. The Wolves finished with 15 three-pointers to the Nuggets' 7. With the Wolves up by 36 in the fourth quarter, Anthony Edwards flashed 7 fingers to the energized crowd at Target Center, indicating a Game 7. The victory was secured by the 9:52 mark of the fourth quarter when Coach Michael Malone emptied his bench. The Wolves bench eventually extended the lead to 50. Nikola Jokic, who was dominant in Game 5, managed 22 points on 9 for 19 shooting with just 2 assists. The Wolves also received a crucial boost from Michael Conley, who returned after missing Game 5 with an injury. Conley contributed 13 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, and he energized the crowd multiple times with big threes and strong defense. The Wolves extended their season with a commanding 115-70 victory in Game 6, setting up a decisive decisive Game 7 in Denver. This will be the second Game 7 in franchise history, following their 7-game series win against Sacramento in 2004. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray have faced 4 Game 7s in their careers, winning 3 of them. This series has been the clear highlight of the playoffs, featuring all the drama. Will the Wolves take down the reigning champs? Or will the Denver Nuggets come ready to play in Game 7? Let us know in the comments. And thanks for watching Sports Pantheon.